make sure the microphone should be good to go now on the live stream, but we're gonna wait here a second. Gonna make sure. It's gonna be a lag here on Facebook. Let me know if you can see this though here in a hot second. Okay. All right. So this is kind of our little show before the show here. And then we're going to get rolling here with today's episode here on Facebook. I'm also broadcasting on YouTube. I'm also broadcasting on Instagram. We should be everywhere right now. So I'm testing this first. So this first few minutes of the stream are going to be boring because I am testing this here for a hot second to make sure that we are live in all the places that we should be live. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Instagram. We're everywhere, folks. Pretty freaking cool, honestly. Exciting. Let me make sure that we got the recording here. I'm using a new piece of software called Livestream. So I'm not going to do any fancy music or anything like that here today. We're just going to do that. Okay, yeah, Misty's saying a little lag time. She can see great. I love it. There's going to be a way in the future on this one that I can actually bring all the events from everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all onto the screen, which would be really cool. I'll also be able to do live interviews. So I'm kind of pumped about that because there's a lot here to discuss here today on this live episode of the Siteman Softball Podcast, which we're going to get to here in a hot second. Let me share real quickly with the team, make sure they know I'm live. Team's got to know I'm live. And then we'll go from there. And we're using a new streaming software. This is the first time with it, so obviously bear with me here. Bear with me on any of how this goes here. So let me here for a quick second. Let's go to the profile here. I'm gonna share this here. Make sure that the boys know. Hello, Jagger. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, hey, Chris. What's up? We're gonna send in Messenger here to the guys, and then I'm gonna hit the record button. Then we're gonna get going. We're not gonna have any fancy music. We're just gonna get right at it. A lot to discuss here today on the podcast. All right. So, all right, that is shared. Everyone can hear me okay, hopefully. All right, awesome. I got the green light on okay. And so let me hit the record button here, and then we're going to be ready to go. All right, see here, audio recording. What happens if I hit this? Episode 48. Experimenting with new tech live, folks. Do you know what I mean? So let's do that. Okay, so we're recording. Awesome. I hope we're recording because otherwise I got to go back and mess around with this recording and stuff like that. So, all right, I'm going to do the intro here. Let me get my notes. We're ready to go. Hope you are having a good day. I said episode 48. This is actually episode 49, live episode of the Siteman Softball Podcast. So it's episode 49, 500,000 viewers special, all right? I'm going to do a quick countdown, and then we're going to just be off to the races here, my friends. All righty, folks. Welcome to episode number 49 of the Siteman Softball Podcast. I'm your host, David Siteman Garland, and we're doing something a little bit different today in honor of the big milestone that we just reached here on the podcast. I want to thank everyone for, which is 500,000 viewers of the podcast in 2022, which is unbelievable because you've been podcasting a long time, did business podcasting way back in the day, and just to get to 5,000 viewers, just to have 5 viewers, right, kind of thing, is pretty darn amazing. So to have 500,000 people that have listened this year to a podcast on slow pitch softball, pretty cool. So I appreciate all you. It's a test of the community. I was actually talking about this the other day to someone, and we were discussing about how, what I love about softball people is just, we're a different breed. It's a passionate community. Is it the world's biggest community? No, but it's a passionate community. And so I appreciate y'all. Hi, Farhad, coming on, watching, whether you're, watching on Facebook whether you go to sitemansoftball.com/podcast and you click and you watch it on Spotify, or if you watch it on Google Podcasts, or all those different things, you can check those out at sitemansoftball.com/podcast, right? We also have Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook, at Siteman Softball on Instagram. You can also find me, David Siteman Garland, on Instagram. Now, here's the craziness about this. What I'm trying here today, for those that are watching the live podcast here on Facebook, is I am using a brand new software called OneStream. OneStream. And actually what I'm using is still in beta here, but it is pretty darn cool. You can kind of see the overlays and things like that are going on here. But what OneStream is allowing right now during this live episode number 49, is that not only am I live on Facebook.com/David Garland, and not only am I live I am alive, we know that, live in Siteman Softball Nation, which is on Facebook, but also live on the, I don't want to say neglected, I'm going to say revamped Siteman Softball YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, Siteman Softball on YouTube, search for it, go there. We're live on there now as well. And that page, I used to do some kind of bat reviews, some old footage. You can watch some D games there. You can see some random stuff on there. But I'm kind of revamping that channel to bring the podcast more there. So Siteman Softball on YouTube. And also on my Instagram right now, David Siteman Garland on Instagram. We're also live on there. First time ever being live on Instagram. So that's kind of cool. So we're in multiple different places, to say the least, right now. Siteman Softball on Instagram. I'm going to try to see if there's a way that I can go live in all the above. So like be live on Siteman Softball, be live on, all these different places. So it's kind of crazy being live and all these different things at the same time. Got the phone. It's awesome. One thing that's going to be very helpful that I cannot do yet, but I will be able to do, is that there's going to be an integration of chat on here where I can click one button and I can see all the comments from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere else that we go at one time. And that's going to make it really more fun and interactive. That is still in beta, but it should be soon here. There's a thing on the control panel that says chat. And if I click right now, it says coming soon. So I'm hoping that coming soon is not 2027, but I hope coming soon is sooner than that for sure. So, all right. So let's roll here. And again, like I said, there might be some issues. There might be a couple things. This is a brand new software. You never know what's going to happen. We'll deal with it here in a second. Okay. All right. So let's get down to business here. Few things to discuss here on the show here today. First of all, let's talk about the KC Last Chance Major. That was this past weekend. I got to get our Game Changer app up here. First of all, let's start with not Siteman Pure. Let's just talk about the tournament in general. And, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I really like tournaments that start Friday and end Saturday night too. And if you ask players, they like that as well, versus kind of dripping into Sunday for the few teams that like that make it to Sunday, right? But this was a tournament that was, Friday night into Saturday. And one of the rare tournaments this year, in my opinion, and for those that played in this, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the ball flew really well. I mean, I know it wasn't extremely hot. It did get hot on Saturday. But the ball flew well and also sounded good. And it's been a minute. It's been a hot second since the ball flew well and sounded good, right? So, it's one of those things where that made for higher scoring games, some fun games, some things like that. Now, what was interesting about this tournament, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about this more on the Hit and Sit show this week, so there will be a new episode of the Hit and Sit show. But what was interesting about this tournament, in my opinion, among many things, is that you have teams fighting for their lives, right? We're not one of those teams for our lives. We're going in there, we're playing this because we want to play before Worlds. We want to improve our seeding at Worlds. We want to do whatever we can to get ready for Worlds. That's what we're doing. We're not going to make the Major World Series, right? But the final two spots of the Major World Series were up for grabs between about 6 teams. And what's interesting is that LNS Glass, they held their spot. They're in there. They did not come to Kansas City. They held their spot. And Primetime, our buddies on Primetime were able to slip in there. Congratulations to them. They won a huge game. I believe it was over Anarchy. That's put them above the line and into the Major World Series. So the 18 teams are now set for the Major World Series, which is very exciting. And also, I don't think that, you could plan it any better than that, where you have people still jockeying for position and still making or not making the Major World Series on the last weekend of the year. I mean, they say that like in the NFL, it's always kind of cool when it comes down to like the last couple things, right? I mean, like you don't want it where it's been decided in July, no one cares, right? It's already, so it was kind of cool to see that. Congrats to Primetime efforts there for getting in there. And so it's going to be a good major. In the future, I am hoping to be doing play-by-play at the major. It's going to be impossible this year because I'm going to be down there for B, then A Worlds, then back home. Then there's a holiday. There's a lot of things going on there. There's a Jewish holiday in there and a lot of things that I won't be able to get back down. So, but in the future, hoping to do some play-by-play at the Major World Series. DW talked to me about that, so mark that down. Hopefully in the future, you'll see me in the booth, which will be a lot of fun. So, KC Major, getting into a little bit here. Let's talk about how we did. So starting off Friday night, which was we played Hype. Hype is a C team locally in Kansas City area, a good C team. And what was interesting about this going to this game, this was kind of a little bit of new territory for this year for Siteman Pure because we have had the most difficult schedule, and this is the way it should be. This is the way what we signed up for. In conference, this was only the second non-conference team we played all year. It's our 8th event, second non-conference team that we played all year. So that means everybody else we played has been a major team, a double A, an A, or a conference B team. This is the second time we played a non-conference. The one was in Cincinnati, which we won. This one we won over Hype. 22-7 was the final in this one. And a couple of interesting fun facts here. Number one fun fact is I want to give a shout out to the team at Pure, Chris Osborne and Karina and Clint and everybody, and especially Jen, who's the real master of how things work behind there, because they got our new pink bats to us in Kansas City that afternoon. So we were able to hit some in BP. And what's funny about the Pure bats is that they're so good that we were able to game a bunch of them as well. We're talking about took like 10, 15 swings. We're like, oh, these are good. Bucket, right? And all our Pure bats passed. We had a couple like anniversary bats that had a ton of swings on them. It didn't pass, but all our NDM 3s, our NDM 2s, we have like one NDM 1, Branches and Collinses. They all passed. So that was pretty cool. So going into that one, when you play a team, below your level, you want to kind of stomp on them and you want to give them not much of a chance. And we've been on both sides of that. But this was a good game. 22-7 was the final. We pulled away. But the first 3 innings of this game was a 1-run game. Hype's a good team. They've got some good players on that team. This was, in my opinion, not our best game, but it was one of those games that we played well enough and did what we needed to do. Not every game is going to be an A game. Not every game is going to be an A+ game, right? Not every game is going to be an A- game. This was not a game that we played our best. We didn't play terrible. We didn't play great. Somewhere in between, and we kind of got done what we needed to do. And something I noticed the entire weekend, and I think this is as you have a team that has good chemistry like ours. Like our chemistry has been really, really good over the year, is that there's just kind of a calm now in the dugout. It's not like a bunch of like nervous hype, people really stressed out and things like that. It's calm. Like the guys are know what they need to do. There's no shenanigans going on there, and so we need to do against Hype. 22-7 final. Box score in that game: Brandon Keene 4 for 4, 5 RBIs. John Branham 3 for 4 with 6 RBIs. A lot of good hitting performances. Chase Graff, very happy for him. He had a great weekend. Was 4 for 4 in this game. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and was looking good. Had a home run there. Eric Conan pitched great in that game, put up a bunch of donuts. After the third inning, they scored 1 run, so good job there. Defense was good, and off we went. So 22-7 was the final in that first game. Then one of the more interesting games of the year, and something that I think bodes well for Worlds coming up, is Resmondo. Played Resmondo, and we're talking about full-on Resmondo here. Their injuries are done. They've had a year that we've been plagued a bit by injuries and some change like this. So we had full-on Resmondo in this game. And when you're a B team and you're playing a major team, you're obviously way behind the 8 ball. What we want to do is obviously we want to play our best, and we want to extend the game as far as we can, right? You don't want to get run ruled, right? Even though that's kind of inevitable a lot of the times, you do not want to get run ruled. You want to just kind of keep pushing it. You want to push it to 5, push it to 6, push it to 7, right? That's what you want to do. This was a great game. The final score was Resmondo 37, Siteman Pure 31. So 37-30. And I just couldn't be more proud of the guys in this game on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we did a great job hitting. Resmondo was out of home runs in the 6th inning. If we didn't hit into like a little double play there and throw up a 0 in the 6th, it'd be very interesting to see what would have happened there in the bottom of the 7th. But we scored in every inning except for the 6th. We had a big 11-run 3rd inning, and the game was close the entire time. We weren't on top of them the entire time. They were winning by a few runs the entire game for the most part. But I got to tell you, it was this close game. We did everything but win it. One of those things, a couple things that go one way or another. Maybe we escape with the win there. But I was very happy about how this went. And I think the guys, it's a great confidence builder. That's one of those games that's great to have before the World Tournament, because when you're playing the best in the world, right, and you play well, it just bodes very well. Brandon Keene, 5 for 6 in that game. Jagger Harjo, 4 for 5. Jose Hernandez was 4 for 5. Berginski, 4 for 5. Mr. Derek. There were a lot of good performances in this game. Chase Graff was 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. We used 13 of our 14 home runs, which was a great sign in that game. And it was a 37-31 final against some of the best in the world. And so can't hang your hat on that one. Do you know what I mean? Very proud of the guys. Very proud of the effort in that game against Resmondo. We come back on Saturday and we play Addictive. Now, Addictive, very good team. They're an A team in the Major World Series, right? Solidified in the Major World Series. That's a team we haven't played this year. And I actually mentioned this before on the podcast in the past. I actually hadn't seen them really play this year, which is so weird because I get to see a lot of teams play when we're playing when we're not playing at these tournaments. And, Addictive's been at a lot of tournaments but maybe it's just been the weird timing of it. Maybe it's just been their schedule, our schedule, maybe just luck. I haven't really seen too much of them other than knowing that they had a good year and they've got a good team. So we lost this one to Addictive 28-20. This game was interesting because they really jumped early, used a lot of home runs. They hit all their home runs in this game. I think we hit 10 or 11 in this game. But this was a case of they got in front of us early, and we just never could quite close the gap to get a win or try to come back in it. We got very close, didn't get run ruled, didn't have any of those problems, right? But we just couldn't quite catch up to Addictive in that one. And, they did a good job of just kind of staying on the gas in that game. Taking a look at it, they really were on us. They had a pretty big lead in that 3rd inning, and we just kept chipping away. In the 6th inning, we got very close, but we just couldn't get closer than that. And so shout out to Addictive. They did a good job in that game. Again, great hitting on the team end. Eric Conan pitched great all weekend as well. John Branham, Brandon Keene, Drew Rogers, Derek Berginski, Luke Boyster, Jagger, and Jose all had 3 hits in that game, which is awesome. They were all 3 for 4. Brandon Keene was 4 for 5 in that game as well. So there was a lot of good hitting. And I think the lesson that I took away from this tournament for our team was, hey, this bodes very well for Worlds. We continue to trend the right way. That's what we wanted. Again, you don't win a World Championship in April or May or July. So, we wanted to be on that track for Vieira next week. And I think we accomplished that. Now, would I like to play a few more games, end up 2-2, 3-2, of course, right? But we knew this was going to be a difficult tournament. Obviously, like to win a couple more, but it accomplished what we wanted to do. We're ready to go next week to Florida. So we don't have a schedule yet for Florida. I think today is the last day. So as I record this on September 20th, Tuesday, September 20th, this is the last day people can sign up for the World Tournament, the last day. So after today, that's it. So if I go to the website here really quickly, if I go to conferenceuSSA.com and I go over to the World Tournament here real quick, got the AB World Tournament. There we go. I'm going to tell you right now where I saw it this morning. I don't know if anyone else signed up since then. Nope. We've got 32 teams for B, 41 teams for A as of right now. 32 for B, 41 for A. Less teams than last year, but very, very good teams. And I'm curious, why do you guys think there's less teams than last year? Last year's B World, I think 50 plus, and A Worlds had 60 plus. Now, I can tell you that extra day between A and B Worlds probably took a lot of the non-conference teams out of A Worlds. That's fine. But it's interesting to see that they're not quite as many B teams, but it's an absolutely loaded field of conference B teams and non-conference B teams in the World Series, in the B World Tournament, 32 teams. If it sticks at 32, boy, is that a nice round number for everybody. 32 goes to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2. The champion, right? If it goes anywhere different than that, you're going to have some playing games and things like that. I have a feeling it's not going to be 32. I think it could be more, and I also think it could also be less. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but there might be a couple teams on there. I don't know if they're going. I see them on there, but I am not 100% sure. We'll find out about that in the next day or two as that schedule comes out for Worlds. But we're looking forward to it. I have us right now as the 9 seed. That's where I have us based on points for the World Tournament. It is based on conference points, and then it goes to power rating and things like that for the non-conference teams. So we should be at about 9 out of 32 seeding-wise right now. And again, your seeding, it's one of those things that matters and it doesn't matter, right? Nice. You obviously want to be a high seed, but you can never take that you're going to play that first game lightly. It's going to be a non-conference team that's there for a reason, right? So you can't take that lightly. People have done that in the past. I know we've talked about that on the show before. People taking those first round games or sometimes even second round games lightly. And I can tell you that will not be us. You know, I can't guarantee you how many games we're going to win, how we're going to do, where we're going to finish. But I can tell you we will be very prepared for the World Tournament. The boys are ready. Everything's ready to go. You know, for those taking you behind the scenes a little bit with Siteman Softball, is we like to plan these things way in advance. No last minute stuff, right? So meaning, you know, Matt Petrov and his wife, Erin, they did all the booking for this, making sure everyone's got their airline tickets, and we have our rental cars, and we've got everything going. And then this year, we basically rented out a lot of a condo complex. So the guys all have condos. A lot of people bring in family. Just be a good time. I mean, the focus is on softball, but, you know, it can't hurt that you're by the beach and other things you get to do when you're not playing or between tournaments or whatever happens there. So we're ready to go, organized, rocking and rolling. Looking forward to the week down in Florida next week. Most of us are leaving on Monday, so I know I'm heading out Monday night and then be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday down in Florida. So I'll have a post at facebook.com/David Garland once we get the actual schedule, see where we're at. I remember last year the schedule came out, and then it changed like 2 days later. So one schedule this year, and we don't have to worry about it changing 2 days later. But we'll see how that goes. It should be out very soon. The boys are ready for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. That is going to be going on next week. Now, next week, won't be able to do a podcast because I'll be at Worlds, probably playing. But I'm going to have one pre-recorded. Let me take a look at this. I'm going to have one pre-recorded for you guys, an interview with Karina Song from Pure, who is the lead designer there. We're going to be talking about the promotion that we're doing Pure for the Cure right now with the Siteman Cancer Center, which, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, go to puresportstech.com/Pure for the Cure. Pure for the Cure. 4 is FOR. And you can see an entire line of pink bats and pink barrel, all for breast cancer awareness. And Pure is putting their money where their mouth is with this, not just awareness. 20% of all sales are going directly to breast cancer research at the Siteman Cancer Center. So if you're going to spend some money on some gear this year and also have a good cause, go to puresportstech.com/Pure for the Cure. I know we've all loaded up on gear. I think our first round of gear, pink gear, I think shipping out today, maybe tomorrow, something like that. So I'm looking forward to having that and bringing it down to Worlds to rock it in Florida. So that is pretty much the story this week, my friends. Thank you again for tuning in. 500,000 viewers. I do not take this stuff lightly. When we're doing things like that, I do not take this lightly. I don't take one viewer for granted. I appreciate you guys tuning in because you watch, you listen, you enjoy it, whether it's here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Spread the word about the show. Write a review, whatever you feel like doing, anything that helps us. It's always very much appreciated because you guys are the energy that keeps me this, my friends. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into this episode. I did kind of a plug for Pure there at the end. I want to appreciate them and all they've done and their sponsorship as well. And we'll see you next time, my friends. Now I'm going to have like an awkward sign off here as I have new software. I'm not entirely sure how to close it, but we're going to do it here. I promise. All right, folks. We'll see ya.